Well, hi guys. It is Saturday, middle of the day-ish, and I'm gonna do a little oil change on the old mini skid steer here. We had it up in Colorado last week. For 10 days we were up there working on a piece of property that we had bought, and it got pretty filthy. I mean, it's dirty, it's got muck and stuff inside of here. It looks like there's some oily residue. I know this is a vent tube right here for the hydraulics, and I was a little bit over full probably. I added some more fluid to it when I added the grapple to allow for the extra cylinder, but I probably got a little too much in there, and so it was spitting some out here and there, but the level's still good. It's not leaking anywhere. I know there's some oily spots underneath some of these motors and stuff like that, but I've checked them over real good. There's actually no leaks. So I think it's just residue, maybe from when they put it together. I know I spilled a little oil in there, and last oil change, or the first oil change that I did, and I did wipe it all up and everything, but it leaves a little bit of a residue, and that collects dust like crazy, so it makes it look a lot worse than it is. But as far as I can tell, I don't have any leaks anywhere. Nothing's losing oil. The levels aren't going down on anything, and I've got grease. I'm keeping it very well greased on all the grease points and stuff, and so they're going to get messy and dirty, but they're well greased, so that's what's important. So anyway, you got your oil drain plug right there, and just behind it, I didn't even realize this before my first oil change, there's an oil drain hose already attached to the drain plug, and it sticks out through the bottom, so it really makes it nice. A little plug on the end of that, and makes it easy to drain out, because otherwise you'd have to try to get a pan or something right up there underneath that, and that would be a pain in the neck. So anyway, I'm going to crack the take out the oil dipstick, and it's pretty full too. I've been checking it, and when I pull it out, it's right there to the top of the reservoir. I'll just leave it here on the top of the hydraulic can. So it's dripping a little bit right there, but now this is a little bit early for an oil change, but I worked it pretty hard for those 10 days up in Colorado. I had done just the original 5-hour, they call the break-in oil change, and so now it's got probably 15 to 20 hours on it now. And so I thought, you know what, it'll be a good thing to go ahead and do another oil change anyway, because it's probably still been wearing in a little bit, and it won't hurt to change that out. And it only takes like 1.5 quarts of oil. The oil's pretty cheap. I get it at Tractor Supply. I'm not buying the top quality stuff. It's good oil, and I'm going to keep it changed very regularly, so I'm not worried about buying full synthetic or something like that. So anyway, I'm going to get around to the other side and drain this out. Okay, so here's the little drain plug I was telling you about, and just below this hole here I've got a little plastic pan down there that you can't really see in the camera. This thing is just a nice little hose with a little thumb screw cap on the end of it. Doesn't take any tools or anything to get it off, so just break it loose and let it drain out. And it wouldn't hurt if it was like 1 inch longer, so it would go down through that tube and hold itself there, but it doesn't take long to drain out, so I'm just going to hold it and let it run out. It's pretty clean. Like I said, it hasn't got very much use on it, but I just want to stay on top of it. It ran like a dream up there. It just worked and worked, never gave me any problems at all. Okie dokie. Well, we got the oil all drained out. Got the plug back on. These things don't have too much dirt around the outside of it. Got my handy dandy little spout here. We're gonna stick that in, put in this whole quart. I know it'll take 1 quart. I can't remember exactly how much it was the last time. About 1.5. That oil definitely was looking pretty good, but it did have that little hint of like a pearlescent look to it, a little sparkly from a little bit more break-in material. So I think it was good to go ahead and change it again. You couldn't, you know, you really can't over change your oil. You can keep it as clean as you want. You're just, there comes a point when you're doing it so often that you're just wasting oil that doesn't need to be changed. But I think this one definitely needed it. I may not change it again so soon for the next one. Might wait now till 40 or 50 hours before I change it again. I'll just keep an eye on it. It says in the manual that the oil level will drop slightly as you run the vehicle, run the machine. It'll just slowly use it up. But I haven't noticed that yet. But again, I haven't used it for a real long period of time either between adding oil. Okay, 1 quart is in, and with 1 quart in, if I screw the dipstick in all the way, it looks like it's right at the full mark. If I just push it in and don't thread it in, it's a little bit low. And of course the engine is just sitting and all the oil is drained out of it, so there's nothing up in the engine. So I'm going to add just a little bit more here, bring the level up just a smidge. It may just come up to the point where it's just basically just starting to overflow out of this hole. It's not going to need much more, just a little bit like that. Let's see what that does. What I basically want is when I just poke it in here like so, that it's reading basically full, which that is right there. Wipe up all my drippings. Alright, check this once more, just push it in. And I can see it's right at the full mark. So I'm going to go ahead and screw that in, and then we're going to start it up. Just run it for a minute or so, and let the oil get up in the engine, and then we'll check it again after that. Okay, I ran it for, I don't know, maybe a minute, just to let it get the oil moved up in the engine. I just shut it off. I'm going to give it a second here for it to run back down. Boy, I love how smooth this thing runs. It just purrs along. It's really nice. It doesn't make any crazy noises. It's not clattery, clanky, you know, doesn't sound rough or anything. It's just really a smooth little motor. So, all right, let's see what we got here. Wipe it off. Just push it in as far as I can, and it's right to the top. I could put a couple more drops in there probably, but I really don't think I need to. I check it all the time when I'm running it, throughout the day when I'm running it. I mean, I'm just being overly cautious with it here. I'm sure, whoops, got dirt on my dipstick there. Don't like to do that. One more check. Yep, we're good. I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to call that good. And I keep an eye on it. If it starts going down a little bit on the dipstick, well, I'll add a little bit more. But I'd rather not be over full. I've seen a couple of videos on these things where they got them a little over full of oil and then it started spitting out oil through the exhaust, and it was smoking real bad and just giving it all kinds of hell. So I don't want to do that. So it's right at the full mark. It's good. And I'm going to go ahead and grease everything up. I got a lot of grease fittings on this thing, and I haven't greased them since I came back from Colorado. I got a new grease hose because some of these up here were a little tough to get in between those into this one, because it's I had a metal pipe on the grease gun, and so I've got a rubber hose now so I can get in there and get all those. They're real sloppy. Those pins are real sloppy on that thing anyway, so I don't know that the grease is doing a whole lot for those, but these all fit pretty good. They fit nice and tight, all these up in here. So I want to just keep it as greased as I can. I'm of the opinion you can't have too much grease. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna get after that, and but I'm gonna wrap this video up. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope it was a little bit educational on doing an oil change on these things. If you like that video, please hit the like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, and I'm gonna keep these videos coming. I will catch you later.